We're going to learn more about Antagonist and Agonist Ligands. And before we start, what is ligands? It refers to any substance interacts with a receptor. So here we have three different phases. So first one is referring to the phase before we apply the drug, and so we have a normal substance binding to the receptor, and then when it binds to it, the site activity, we can see the site activity going up. And then when we have an antagonist, okay, so agonist here, it actually enhances the cell activity. So our cell before the drug, it's just dancing like one like fast dot level, but now it's dancing like 300 faster than the normal. And when we have an antagonist, it actually blocks the normal substance to bind to it, so our cell cannot dance. Therefore, we can say the cell activity is blocked. So antagonist idea that is used for antidepressants, just like dopamine and serotonin, so that we can keep those hormones longer. And also 60% of drugs are worked by this process. And so these receptors are specifically for these hormones. So there's a specific hormones for specific receptors, and that is really good because that allows hormones to be released at anywhere and circulate throughout the body, because it is only effectful for a certain place. But there's a bad thing about it also, because if it only gets effect to those particular tissues that has this particular receptor, so that there is always good and bad in one things. So then what is a downregulation? It's about like having the cell, this is a cell, and it has a receptor, and then we have a hormone, like for example insulin, and then because we have so much having that hormone a lot binding to it, so because we exposed to that insulin a lot, our cell is like exhausted. So before, when we are not like exposed too much like that, like when we expose this much, we got like this much of reaction. But because we're having so much exposure to it, we're having like this much of reaction. That's the downregulation. Upregulation is having more response to the hormone. So for example, if we have prolactin flowing around in our blood, and because we have that hormone a lot, we in the liver there's a cell, and that will have more receptors to the hormone because we have a lot. So more hormone, more receptors, more responses. And so synergism is another concept, and is about, so there's a one cell, and because this hormone bond to this receptor, and that will activate this receptor binding to that hormone. And the important point is that it happens in the same cell.